Hello, everybody. We are a few minutes late. I actually had to push this a little bit. And I see there's 4 people here. Sorry that I made you wait a little bit, guys. I feel like my hair is a little crazy too. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but in the Northeast, we had a bad storm coming through Saturday, and there's a lot of people knocking on our doors right now, trying to check the damage done to the house. So because we had got hail and winds, and so yeah. So one of them knocked on the door, and I was talking to them. But yeah, this is to celebrate that we reached, and obviously this is not just me. This is all of you watching. We reached 700,000 views, which is absolutely and utterly insane. Like, the sheer number of views, just like, it's mind-boggling. It's just crazy. So yeah, I wanted to, celebrate that we are crossing this milestone. It's just the sheer amount of views. It's just, I don't know. I'm humbled. Yes, but it's not the exact word. The word is just, it's really overwhelming. Hi, Janet. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm sure you have contributed. Just by watching this, you're contributing to even more. So, hi, Mr. Jermson. How are you? How's your training going? Are you training for anything else after your 10K? And Coach Paul is saying, congratulations, Suzie. And I think you sent me a message. I didn't have a chance to pull it. So if you want to post what you were sending me by personal message, if you want to put it on the screen, where's the beer? I actually ran out of beer. I don't know if you know this, guys, but I've been dry for a while now. Actually, I bought my first bottle of wine yesterday. I went to the store, and my ShopRite has like an attached liquor store to it, and they only send like liquor and wine. So it's weird in Pennsylvania. What do you want me to tell you? Because you don't have, like in New Jersey, you have everything consolidated. So you can find non-alcoholic beer, regular beer, hard seltzer, wine, liquor, everything in the same store. In Pennsylvania, you have like 2 different stores for that. So you have your beer place, which is just beer, regular and non-alcoholic. And then you have the liquor store, which sells wine and liquor. So my ShopRite has a liquor store attached to it. So I could only buy wine, nothing non-alcoholic, which is a shame. But yeah, I bought wine yesterday, and I drank a glass of wine yesterday for the first time in, I want to say, 6 weeks. I've been dry for that long. So yeah, Mr. Jensen is saying, half marathon next week, no training needed. I know, you're like in T-top shape. Didn't you run your 10K like 46 minutes, something like that? I wish I could do that. Watching running videos is more than enough. Good. Watching my running videos just gives you a boost. I am missing this one. What up, party people? Woo-hoo! Heather's in the house. If you're watching this, go, and you're not following her, go subscribe to her channel and her TikTok and her Instagram. She has a lot of fun content on TikTok and Instagram. Like really, really fun, like belly hurting kind of fun. She's really good. And then she's saying, if I could train by watching videos, I'd have a reminder by now. I was going to say, videos motivate me, but sometimes, depending on, they motivate me, but sometimes depending on my mood, it doesn't have to do with the video, depending on how I'm feeling personally. Sometimes I get a little bit ticked off, but it's not because of videos, because of where I'm at personally. So, how much did you run today, Coach Paul? And for anybody who doesn't know yet, Dev Runner is my personal coach. He's coaching me to accomplish my Boston qualifier at Wine Glass Marathon October 1st, which, yeah, there's a video coming up. I think I'll be able to upload it probably Sunday. I'm still working on it. I'm still editing, but it's going to explain kind of what happened during the race and just how things are going to move forward. So, I mean, we're back in the saddle, guys. And Paul knows this because I tend to text him after pretty much every run that I do. He gets a text from me just telling him how it went. I don't know if your other athletes do this, but it's probably overkill. Sorry. Janet saying, have you recovered? Hope you're okay. Yes. So again, I'm going in the weekly running vlog. Next one that's going to be published, I go into what happened. But basically, going into the race, so by accident, completely by accident, I had blood work done Friday. So the race was 2 days later, 48 hours later, after my fasted blood work, the routine blood work that your doctors order. And because my doctor knows that I'm a runner, she tends to, sometimes she doesn't, but this last time I knew that she had ordered electrolytes. She put it on the order. So yeah, they came back as completely messed up. So going into the race, my electrolytes were like not in a good place. Nothing that, obviously this is not coach's, Paul's fault. It's mainly my fault because, well, it took a little bit of digging, but apparently I haven't been hydrated well. So, oh, he loves the real-time feedback. Okay, let's go back. One message. Coach Paul is saying he loves the real-time feedback from me. Okay, if I ever bother you too much, though, tell me that I am just completely, it's overkill. I'm sure Paul would rather have too much from you than nothing and wonder how you're doing. Yes, and there was a little bit of introspection after the race, more on my side than, again, this has nothing to do with Paul. It had to do with me. So there's nothing that he could have done differently. He's been an extremely, well, he's been a friend more than, he's been more than a coach. He's been a friend. So yeah, I called him after the half marathon. So yeah, when I was I was pretty defeated at that point. So you're an awesome athlete and I learned so much from your feedback. Thank you. Yeah. So training, not that, I mean, this week, obviously we're coming off of a key race that I put a lot of effort into, and I ran as hard as I could run that race. If you watched the video, you saw me. So really, let me turn this off actually. This is better, right? It makes me look more flawless, like my skin looks better. But yeah, coming off of it, this is kind of a in-between week. But the 2 runs that I've done, the one Wednesday was okay-ish. The one I did today was super good. I was so happy running. My legs were fine, my feet were fine. I felt strong. Not that I pushed the pace because it was supposed to be an easy run, but I felt so happy running, which is the main thing. You need to feel that this is why we do it, right? Or this is why we should do it, to be happy running. Oh, thank you, Paul. Paul is fantastic, guys. If you're considering a coach, talk to him because he's awesome. It's not only how much he knows about running, it's how much he supports his athletes. I mean, he's just so attentive to details and so there. He doesn't drop the ball. And I'm not his only athlete. He has a lot of athletes. So yeah, he's really top notch. Heather was saying, I knew that race couldn't get you down for too long. Yo smiles back. Yeah, I tend not to, for better or worse. I tend not to dwell on things too long. Maybe that's not good. Maybe I should be more like sit through feelings a little bit longer, maybe, because I usually pick up myself so quickly. Yeah. So I feel like when I'm defeated, I'm really defeated, but then I just bounce back really quickly, which again could be bad. I think maybe I should do more introspection, just more like, okay, what went wrong? But I had my peace. I had my pity party at the end of the race, so I'm not gonna, I'm not crying anymore. That was it. Hi, Kim. You made it. How's the weather in Denmark these days? I love Denmark. I always say every time Kim shows up, I always say the same thing because it's true. If I think this is news actually. If I wasn't living in the United States and I could not go back to Spain for whatever the reason, Denmark would be my country of choice. Like, I love Denmark so much. I don't know why. It's just like it was, and I've only been there once, but the sync in between Danish people and me was so, I don't know, I felt so, again, it's a country that makes me happy. So, but I've only been once. Maybe if I repeat it again, I wouldn't feel exactly the same. This was a while back too. So, coach, how I feel about you. So, very cool, you guys. So, 700,000 views. Who would have thought it? Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been at this for, gosh, how many years? 5 years now. 5 years. But really posting, I think, the high quality videos that the channel deserves, probably the last year and a half. Because when I started, it was more to document what I was doing, really more as an exercise to, I didn't expect anybody to watch anything, to be honest. I expected, I guess, some people to watch, but not to hit any records or, to climb the YouTuber ladder super quick, because really I never intended to make this my life, a business. So really putting in the time and effort into like editing videos and like scripting and all that, like really the last year and a half. So yeah, 700,000 is a lot of views. Yeah. Okay, Kim is saying in Denmark, and I don't think you're in Copenhagen, right? I think you're like outside of Copenhagen. Right now, it's okay. A little overcast, but no rain. So same here. We have overcast. It's been overcast for a while. It's like, I think the whole month, like March and April so far have been like this, like overcast. Other than the race, it was super sunny. Yeah. We actually got really good weather to me for the race. Although I know people who messaged me on Instagram who said, "What are you talking about? The wind was really strong." I did not feel. I guess I was preoccupied about other stuff. I really wasn't thinking about the wind. I noticed it. There was one spot in between buildings in which it was kind of hitting me face, like coming, but it really wasn't that bad. Like I was prepared for much, much worse. So yes, Kim is saying he's in Jutland. That's what I knew. Yeah. So Jutland or Jutland, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Roskilde, right? Roskilde, like the fjords is Jutland. Now you're gonna have to answer that because I was there. I went to Roskilde for the day. I wanted to take my son was a little kid at the time. I wanted to take him on those boats that sort of like reenact the Viking boats, but they were all booked. So we arrived there super early, and still they were all booked. Yeah, so we couldn't do it. We saw the museum though. The museum was really neat. Especially my son was 3.5 at the time, 3.5 years old. He loved just walking through the again, like the reenactment of the actual Viking boats. He loved it. Yeah, so it's a great place for kids and for adults. Okay, so Heather's saying, if it were up to my husband, we'd be living in France. I knew that about your husband, and that's why your daughter has a French name, I think. I seem to recall. if it were up to me, would be in Spain or Italy. So here's what I would say. If you were to move to like Spain or Italy, you could easily make it to France, and vice versa. If you like were to live in France, you can make it. Like I have driven. Actually, when my son was 10 months old, we drove all the way to Paris, which is 12 hours from Madrid. It's crazy when you're in the States to think about this, but 12 hours driving, we drove not, well, I think we did an overnight. I think we did an overnight somewhere. But yeah, we drove because because Bruno was a baby. So we must have had an overnight somewhere. But yeah, you can make it like a straight, there's highway all the way from Madrid. In between Madrid and Paris, you have a highway. And my parents, they're not young, and recently they went to Milan driving from Madrid, and I think it was, I want to say they said 10 hours. So yeah, so if I'm not telling you to move there, but if you wanted to move there, you can easily travel around. So it's really not an issue. Even to like, one of my cousins lives in Germany. I don't know if she's still there, actually. I haven't talked to her in a little bit. I'm one of 21 cousins. For those of you, my mom is one of 8, so I'm one of 21 cousins on her side. And one of them is in Germany. She married a German guy. I think she's still there. And they used to get on a bike. Her husband owned a bike, and they used to like bike from Germany to Madrid. Like I guess they would sleep somewhere too. I don't think they did it all in just one go, but they would ride the bike all the way to Spain. So to Madrid. Madrid is in the center of Spain. Super convenient. YouTube grind, pay enough, Suzie. Well done. Well, yeah, it's. I don't even know how that happened. Like I got a message from vidIQ because my channel, like I'm part of the vidIQ program, the free program. It's not, I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that. But you know how this goes. They sent me a message saying, you reached 700,000. I was like, that can't be true. So I actually had to go to the YouTube statistics. And that's when I saw it, that I was, at the time that I checked, I was 700,100 or something like that. So yeah, it's a lot. It's really a lot. Heather saying hello to Chris. Chris just ran the Brighton Marathon. Congratulations on that. Chris is also saying hi, Heather and Paul. Oh, so Roskilde is on Zealand. And Kim's daughter lives 12 kilometers from Roskilde. I really like the cathedral and all, it's really, it's a really nice town, Roskilde. So Mr. Jemison is in Zug now. Anybody knows where? I don't know what that is. That's not Singapore, right? I don't know where that is. Do you move around? Like, do you travel? That would be so cool. That's, if I had another life, which I don't even believe in an afterlife, but if I had another life, that would have been my life, like just working in different countries and just learning about different cultures and, I don't know, exploring. And maybe when I retire, if I ever have the money to do that. See, the problem is if you don't travel when you're younger, I don't think you ever do it. That's a problem. Like you could, but Coach Paul is saying, hey Chris, congratulations on the Brighton Marathon. Yeah, and a lot of people I know, actually, a lot of people I follow on YouTube ran the Brighton Marathon, it's great. Yeah, it's a very popular marathon. Isn't it like part of, don't you like qualify for London if you hit specific time or something? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I feel like my hair is like today because of the humidity in the air. So yeah, guys, after this, so let me ask this. So the Springtime Surprise is in Disney now. So who is doing it? Is someone in the audience, like someone who's watching now, doing the springtime surprise in Disney. I had to pull off of that because my trip was canceled with my work, and then, well, now I'm going to start a different job Monday, so with a different company. So Mr. Jensen is in Switzerland. So you're in finance, I take it, probably. Because if you were in Singapore and now you're in Switzerland, that's going to be my guess. And you don't have to share that with us if you want to keep it confidential. But that's just a guess, educated guess, I'm guessing. But yeah, now guys, I want you to put in the comments if you, and some people don't like traveling. So even so though, if it's like, just put in the comments, where would you like to go? Like new place. Don't mention a place you've been to. Just mention a new place that you would like to go. If I could go anywhere, in a place I haven't been, I have two actually. It's hard to pick. I have two. One of them would be Jordan, because I would love to see Petra. And the second option would be Tanzania, because I would love to see Masai Mara, the park and all the animals and all that. That's been my dream. Both have been my dreams since I was a teenager. So Heather saying New Zealand. I actually have a friend who wanted to go to New Zealand badly, and he went there, and he was very disappointed. I'm not saying you would be. He was expecting something different. He said there were a lot of sheep. So I don't know what he was expecting, because we're all different. So not, like sometimes you go somewhere and people are telling you, oh, that place is blah 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 blah, and then you go, and for you it's completely different. So yeah, I know a lot of people want to go to New Zealand. I wouldn't say no to New Zealand. North Korea. See, I don't think I would want to go to North Korea. It doesn't appeal to me that much. My friend Jennifer, though, she's from Seoul, South Korea, and we've always joked around, doing a girls' trip in which we would fly to Spain, spend a week in Spain, and I would show her around Spain, and then we would fly to South Korea, and then she would show me around South Korea. So that's a really nice plan. Japan. I've been to Japan. That's why I didn't say Japan, but I would totally, if I had to go back to a country that I've been to, that would be Japan. I was there many, many years ago, 2008. So yeah, 15 years ago. I don't think it's changed that much, but to me, it was the bomb. Like Japan was, it's not a place, it's not like Denmark though. When I visited Denmark, I would have stayed there to live. When I went to Japan, I would have liked to stay longer or come back as a tourist. I don't think I would like to live in Japan. It seems very, and I'm sure there are places that are not, but it seems like overwhelming with the amount of people everywhere. I visited different places, so it's, again, there were places we visited where there were not as many people and houses, but everything seems so, I don't know, like I think I would miss my peace and quiet, which again, it's possible you can find it in Japan. I'm not saying that you can't, but. So Paul's saying Boston, Tokyo, Berlin. So you would like to go to all those places. Those are on my bucket list too. Yeah. So once I qualify for Boston, I've always said this, once I qualify for Boston, then I'll tackle all the other ones. And my son has Tokyo on his bucket list. He really wants to go to Japan. So when he graduated from high school, my in-laws said, we'll go with you. We'll take you on a trip, whatever you want to go. And he said, Japan. The problem is when he was last year, Japan was still in lockdown for COVID, even last year. So they were not open to international tourism, so they didn't do it. And then this year, my in-laws don't feel like they should tackle, I mean, they're getting old. My father-in-law is 80, so they didn't feel like they could tackle such a long trip because it's a lot of hours in a plane. So they're going to go to Germany, which was my son's second option. So my son's going to go to Germany with my in-laws this summer. He's going to have a blast. I've never been to Berlin. I've been to Germany for work, actually. When I was in Spain, I worked for an international company. We had offices everywhere. And I was in sales. I've always been in sales. And when I was selling for that company, the sales kickoff, I don't know if any of you are in sales. Usually companies have like a sales kickoff at the beginning of the year. So we would have a sales kickoff, and then every office would take turns organizing the kickoff. And so I went to our office in Germany. I went to France. I went to Italy. I went to Portugal. We came to the States at the time, which was the office, the headquarters was in Minneapolis. So we went to Minneapolis a couple of times too. Yeah. One time they took us to Minneapolis for the kickoff. It was in January, and we got slammed in the hotel. There was so much snow. Yeah. To me, that was like, it was the first time in my life I saw that much snow together, like a foot overnight. Like, and even that's nothing for Minneapolis. They get a lot more than that. So, Heather saying also Japan been on my bucket list for ages. Knowing what I know about you, Heather, I think you would absolutely like love Japan because it's like geeky, and they're not. I mean, you think about people who like going to Disney and wearing, like myself, I like wearing my ears and all that. You know, yeah, you're geeky, you're Disney, you know, quote unquote adult. I don't know if there's, I don't like using that term, but you know, you're someone who is a little bit geeky. When you go to Japan, they take it to a whole other level. I mean, it's just beyond. Yeah. They have this neighborhood in Tokyo. I forgot the name of the neighborhood, but I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday. It's one day over the weekend. Everybody gets in costumes and they just hang out in this park. And you can go there, and I actually have pictures with people because you can approach them and say, hey, mind if I take a picture with you? Which is kind of weird, but I have a lot of pictures with people because they were like in full blown, especially the girls, like full blown, like this manga, like they're the favorite manga character, and they're like dressed, and so yeah, it's really, really neat and interesting. It's such a cultural crash when you go from here to there. Yeah. Heather wants to do the majors as well. Yeah. It's so very expensive. Yeah. And I have a son to put through college, but yeah. Mr. Jameson, Coach Paul is going for the majors. Shinjuku, that's the name of the neighborhood. Shinjuku, that's right. Yeah. Is Shinjuku the one with the, where you cross the, is that Shinjuku? The one where you're crossing the street and it's like a cross, like the walkway crosses this big, massive. I actually have video of that walking through. Yeah, from 2008. Yeah, before I was a YouTuber. I still have the video somewhere. I have so much. It was such a shock. Yeah, such an intense experience. We were there 2 weeks. I was there for my honeymoon. So really like stressful place to choose for a honeymoon because you can't, yeah, you can't understand anything on like the signs. Obviously, most of the signs are in Japanese. Not everything is in English. So Shibuya crossing, that's it. Yeah. So things that shocked me about Tokyo. So Ginza, I thought Ginza was, so I picture Ginza like Manhattan, you know, like, I don't know, fancy. Well, not that all of Manhattan is fancy because it's not. But I picture something more than, like, Ginza didn't live up to my expectations. But in Tokyo, for example, we went to Miyazaki's museum, which I don't know if you guys are that into anime and like manga. But for me, the best movies ever are Miyazaki's movies. He actually do everything by hand. In Tokyo, they have a museum. So we went to the museum, and it was so neat. It was just so fantastic to see like how he draws, he makes the drawings, how he designs, how he scripts the movies. He passed away actually a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. Janet is saying, I would love to run a race in Oregon. I want to visit Eugene, and my grandson lives there also. So you have an excuse. That's awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to have grandchildren. Now, my son is 19, so I have a long way to go. But every time someone says, my grandson or my granddaughter, I'm always like, I was born to be a grandmom. Yeah. So Coach Paul saying I got to know the Miyazaki movies through my son. He's a massive fan. Good for your son. Yeah, they're awesome. Like my son actually grew up watching Miyazaki's movies because that's, I own Miyazaki's movies. So that's what he watched even before he watched any Disney movie or Pixar movie. So he used to pretend he was Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know if you watched that one, but he used to pretend like he would play with other kids and say, I am Howl's Moving Castle, which was very, very weird because the other kids were like Lightning McQueen. And yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. It just depends on how, your parents, what your parents play for you. So Kiki's Delivery Service is one of my favorite movies ever. Such a sweet movie. Anything Miyazaki does, really. It's like such a, like to me, I love My Neighbor Totoro. That's probably my most favorite. Or maybe not, maybe Spirited Away. I don't know. I like them all, to be honest. They're all so different. Like you wonder how just this one person can have such wild ideas about movies. Like they're all different. Like they have different characters and like the protagonist is always different. Like in Howl's Moving Castle, the protagonist is a grandmom, like an actual grandmom, like a woman, like an 80-year-old woman, and she's the protagonist of the whole movie. Of course, something happens, but yeah, but she, for the better part of the movie, it's a grandmom. So, and Kiki's Delivery Service, she's a witch. So yeah, and she has the cat. I actually have a cosmetic bag that I bought. I went to New York City for work once to visit a client, and I arrived too early, so I was making time. And I found this like little Japanese store. It's apparently I learned after the fact that it's like a place where people go when they want to get Japanese stuff. So it's a well-known place in New York City for people who are into manga, comics, and all that stuff. But they have like this little section with like purses and backpacks, and I bought this tiny pouch that has the cat from Kiki's Delivery Service. I still own it. I love it. I take it just on trips with me. I just love it. It's a tiny little thing, but it's just like, it's so cute. Yeah, and I bought it there. I think I paid a fortune, like a fortune, because it's imported, made in Japan, imported from Japan, and they sell it in Bryant Park in New York City. So you can imagine how much I paid for this tiny little thing. I don't know. I think I paid $50 or something, like insane. So Heather's saying I need to get my son to watch Spirited Away. I haven't found anyone who doesn't love Spirited Away. So it was one of the, when it came out that year in Spain, it was the most watched movie in theaters. Spirited Away. Like everybody went to watch Spirited Away to the movies. Yeah, it was super, super, super popular. And then they won the Oscars that year, actually. After that one, they were bought out, I think, by Disney, because they're owned by Disney. So when I go to Epcot, it's always like, it hurts my heart that they don't have anything with Miyazaki's movies in the Japan pavilion in Epcot. Nothing at all. They don't sell anything with like Miyazaki, like Spirited Away or Kiki's Delivery Service or My Neighbor Totoro. Nothing like that. And it's just like, why? Like they bought the movies. Like they bought the right to play the movies in theaters. So yes, it is that kind of a movie. Yeah, I love Spirited Away. I actually own it. I should rewatch it. Yeah, I haven't watched one of. Again, my son was like, he would like play and replay Howl's Moving Castle. Hi, Peter. I think it's the first time I see you commenting. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And he's in Montreal. No, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Montreal. Man, my French is really rusty. Fan of your channel. Thank you so much. And we reached 700,000 views, which seems, again, it's crazy. Now, most of those views, though, are from this tiny little 6-minute video I did washing my dirty running shoes. So not most, but half of the views are from that one video. So it's just interesting what people gravitate towards. So yeah, another question for you guys. What would you like to see in the channel? Is there anything that you can think of? And I know that you guys are busy, you have a lot to think about, and I am the creator, so I should really not have to ask this and just give you the content you're looking for. But sometimes it's just hard to guess. So I guess if I ask you, like, what would you like to see in on my channel? Like more product reviews, more vlogs. I don't know. Would you like to see a Q&A? Like, is that something that interests you? A lot of people do Q&As from time to time. I just don't know if that's something that you would like. Montreal. Okay, now I said it. Montreal, right? I think I got it now. Yeah, Heather's saying I'm still figuring out what to put on my channel. You're doing just great. Like every time I see a new video from you, I'm like, oh my God, like you're stealing ideas that I should have had. You know? Like I see a video from you, I was like, dang it, I should have done that. But of course I didn't do it. So it's really funny. You should probably do more live streams. I think they were a thing. So the algorithm is ever changing, as you know, as we all know. If you're in content creation, you know that. And if you're just a viewer, you know that as well, because every so often what you have on your like sort of like your main page on YouTube, I'm sure you have noticed sometimes it changes and you're like, why are you showing me this? Why do you think I'm interested in this? Well, because they spice up, they change the algorithm, and then you're receiving new things to watch, new suggestions. So the algorithm is always changing, and you never know what's gonna, you really never know what's gonna like work out. So I watch a couple of YouTuber, people. There's people on YouTube that actually make videos about how to be successful on YouTube. And when I watch their videos, I'm like, yeah, but not really. Like, they have tips and tricks, and it's like, no, I've done that. It didn't work. Like, I think it depends a lot on your niche, what you make videos about, and also who you are. And it's also about what your audience wants to watch. And sometimes what your audience wants to watch is not what you want to make, which I don't think I'm there. I think I was talking with another YouTuber, I'm not going to say who, but someone who's big on YouTube. We were watching about our statistics the other day. We were like texting each other about statistics. And this YouTuber was saying that he's I think it was 92% of their views come from non-subscribers. And he has, well, I said he, okay, this guy, he has a lot of subscribers. Whereas for me, I have a lot less subscribers, but like 40% of my views come from subscribers, from people who come back to watch my videos over and over again. So honestly, I prefer to have people come back and enjoy what I'm doing than having a lot of subscribers and have only, I don't know, like 10% of my views come from people who keep coming back. So yeah, I'm not doing this this is not a contest of any sort. I'm happy where I am. But it's just interesting that sometimes you put a lot of time in a video and you're like, oh, this one is going to be liked by so many people. And then nobody wants to watch that video. And, the worst to me, what really, to me, is more like the investment. Because sometimes you put a lot of thought into editing a video and then it gets not many views and it's like, oh my God, I put 10 hours of editing into that one video. So that's like the cost, like the investment. You're investing this much time and then you don't get as many views. It's fine. It's all, because you never know. That's the thing. You never know what's gonna like hit. Like, what are people gonna want to watch? Like, yeah, what's gonna, connect with people on a personal level. But again, I'm very happy with where I am today because I know that 40% of the people who come back to watch my videos are subscribed. Like legit, they keep coming back. So, and that is really, that's high percentage. So some, you guys are everything. Yeah. Okay. So Pierre is saying that I was pretty close. Okay. I'll take that. A Q&A. Very cool. Okay. So I will post on my community. I will put a post there and then you guys can put questions there. And then I will just put all of them together. I'll do it on Instagram as well. And then put all of them together and make a video with Q&A. And you can ask whatever, like wild questions, even if they're personal. I mean, obviously not too personal. But, if you want to ask about my family or, I don't know, my husband or anything you're curious about, I think it's fair game. I guess Miyazaki made another movie after The Wind Rises. Have you seen that one? I haven't. I thought The Wind Rises was the last one. Which I have to say, I was already in the United States and I didn't. So when I went in 2008 to the museum, to Miyazaki's museum in Tokyo, they had like some of the art from The Wind Rises. So I don't know if it was going to be released in Japan because usually goes later to the rest of the world, at least at that time. So, but no, the last movie I watched by Miyazaki was the one where they have a flood. Oh, I forgot the name. He has like a tiny little, like, there's this animal that guides it's like a spirit, and it just creates floods and like the water to come and rain and all that. That was a really interesting movie. That's probably my least favorite, actually. I really like Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is for adults. Like, it's an adult anime movie. It's not for kids. But I really like Princess Mononoke. Jessica. I personally love the running vlogs. They're the most inspiring. Oh, thank you. And maybe some more what you eat for a run. Love your channel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. So this vlog that I'm working on right now has a little bit of a different spin to it. So you guys have to let me know if you like it or not. If you don't like it, I can go back. It's easy for me to go back to what I was doing prior. But I tried to be more, not that I'm not real, but I tried to show more. When you are putting together a video, especially if it's a vlog, sometimes, and people who vlog, I'm sure Coach Paul, he's still here, he probably knows, like, you're talking to the camera and sometimes you say things that then you edit later. I'm trying to edit less of that and leave more of that because those are comments I'm making and they're truly me. So I don't know, maybe I'm just editing too much. So I'm trying to leave more of that, like, genuine. Again, not that the other stuff is not genuine. Everything is genuine. But it's like, when you're talking and then, like, when you're talking to friends, like, you go deeper and deeper and deeper and then you say something that's really, like, personal. So I'm trying to leave more, like, personal stuff in the vlog. So there's a lot of that on this vlog that's coming up. I don't know I think I'm going to be able to put it up Sunday. I have to go for a long run on Sunday, and I'm miler. So it'd probably be up on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. So, but yeah, my vlogs are always a hit. Well, always a hit. I get like 300, 400 views. But in my channel, vlogs tend to do well. So Heather's saying same, 87% of my views are from people not subscribed. So that is, like, so interesting. Like, why? Like, you have one of the best channels. And I truly believe this. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. Like, your channel is so, first of all, it's fun, which I appreciate. It's geeky. It has a different spin. Like, there's no one else in YouTube that does YouTube the way you do it. At least not in the running community. Obviously, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, so I don't know. I can't speak for other niches. But in the running community, you are the only one who's this geeky and this fun. And So it's mind blowing that you don't have like, I don't know, 20,000 subscribers. I don't understand why. Can you give an example of what kinds of videos you don't want to make? I think I would do videos about anything, to be honest. I don't think there's anything that's, out of the realm of, I mean, there's things that I could not do because technically, potentially I could not do. But honestly, right now, the only thing I would need to make my channel super state of the art and is a drone to take views of like stuff from like high up. Other than that, I have the camera, I have the equipment, I have everything. Like really, I have a good software right now that I'm using. But no, I mean, there's nothing really that I don't enjoy doing shoe reviews a lot, but I would do them. Yeah, I've done them in the past. It's just that I feel like I don't really know. Like honestly, to me, a shoe review is like, I like this shoe, I don't like this shoe. That's it. You know? There's no like, oh, the tongue is this thick and the weight is this and this. Because for me, what for me is cushion, it might be super hard for somebody else. What for me is like, oh, the tongue is too like, I don't know, the shoelaces. I don't like the shoelaces, which sometimes I don't like the shoelaces. Somebody else might love those shoelaces. So to me, shoes is something that's so personal to each individual, to each runner. I would do shoe reviews, but I would always do them saying, this is my impression. This is what I think about the shoes. You might think something completely different because I think they're so personal, shoes. So I don't know. I don't think there's any taboo or anything. Yeah. I would do a video about anything. So if you guys want a QA, I'll post on my community tab on YouTube. I'll post questions for the Q&A, and once we have a few, I don't know how many, I've never done a Q&A, but I guess, I don't know, 40 questions. Once we have 40 questions, I can do a video. And Paul actually is, are you from Canada? Like, are you Canadian or did you live in Canada? Long road trips from Toronto. I love Toronto. That's one other city that I wouldn't mind living in, actually, Toronto. I really like Toronto, and every time I've been there, I've really enjoyed it. I've been there 3 times in Toronto, and it's a city that I don't know, I find it super clean, super easy to navigate, good food. It's affordable. Like, it's a big city, so compared to like other cities, like it's sparkling clean compared to Philadelphia, for example. I mean, let's face it, Toronto is pretty clean. And it has interesting architecture as well, like things to watch that are just interesting and historical. And yeah, and then nature, it's like there's so much. And I mean, the selling point to me is Toronto Island. Toronto Island is just like, I don't think there's any other city in the world that has that. Maybe Singapore. Singapore has a little island that people can go to, and just it has beaches and stuff. But Toronto Island has everything. It has boats on a lake that you can actually, like rowboats. You can swim. You can sunbathe. It has actual beaches. It has a little amusement park for kids. It has restaurants like on the. It's such a nice. It just makes Toronto completely different to anything else. So nice. Heather's saying, I like the community of people that show up every week and comment. They're worth the work. That's, yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think you have to do it. Even, I always say that I would do it even if no one was watching, I would still do it. So again, I did it for many years just for me. It's just that I feel like the last year and a half is when I have really, or maybe not a year and a half, maybe 2 years. The last 2 years is when I really have given it like a push, like a true, like treating it as a business. Like, I think you need to have that. And I think you need to treat YouTube like a business if you want to make it successful. And that depends on what success you define success as. But I do think you have to treat it as a business, not as a hobby, even if it's something that you would do anyway, even if it wasn't, you know, I don't know. Because let's face it, guys, the monetization on YouTube pays peanuts. I mean, you know, when Kafuzi does those videos saying, this is how much YouTube paid me, kudos to him. And there's YouTubers out there who, you know, they're making $5,000, $6,000 on YouTube. I make peanuts, like really peanuts. Like it's not even worth to put it on your like tax returns. You have to put that on the tax returns, and it's too much travel for that. But you do it because, you know, I mean, YouTube. At one point, I was actually thinking about not, because again, it's such a tiny amount of money that I was like, well, I could demonetize the channel and I would not have to like keep records and, you know, but then YouTube monetizes your channel anyway. They show commercials anyway, and someone's making that money. So if someone else is going to make that money with my content, then it's, you know, it's better if it's me. I'll put it back on the channel. Like I sign up for races. I will buy shoes or whatever, and then I'll make reviews. That's the way that I look at it. Because YouTube is going to monetize it. They're going to show ads anyway. So there's a Miyazaki movie coming out this channel this summer called How Do You Live? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But he died. So maybe it's with content he created in the past. Is that possible? It's possible. It is very possible, because I think he was very prolific. I think he actually had a lot of content. And when you go to the museum, I don't know if this is still that way, because again, when I went to the museum, he was still alive, but he had the actual, you could walk through his studio and you could see like his actual studio, and you could see like the desk in which he did the designs and like unfinished, like we walked by things where he was like doing drawings and he was still unfinished. It was such a neat thing to see. Like I highly recommend, if you go to, if anybody's going to Tokyo, go to Miyazaki's museum. Janet saying, looking forward to watching your BQ journey. Thank you for joining. And we're going to actually have to finish this within the next 5 minutes here. Bye. Dog is barking. I think it's because we have a guy checking our roof. Again, for those who joined in the beginning are still here, we had a bad storm and hail hit the roof and the siding of the house. It's a mess. Bye, Janet. And then Janet saying, bye, Coach Paul. Coach is saying, I think about my edits constantly. Do I cut the personal thoughts to keep it moving? Yes, that's my thing. It's like, should I leave the things that I'm thinking about? Well, in this video, this vlog that's coming up, the next one that's coming up, I left a lot unedited because I was like, okay, let's just leave it and see, you know, what the feedback is. Again, I can always cut it down, but I think that stream of consciousness sometimes needs to stay. So Heather's channel is really starting to come into its own. The honesty and the deep dives are so awesome. I agree. Great channel. I saw Weathering with You in 4D with all the 4D hassle that comes with it. First time for me too. It was not a Miyazaki or even Ghibli movie, but it was decidedly Miyazaki-esque. It's interesting how much anime, I think, it's what's influenced by Miyazaki. And if you think about it, he made everything by hand. Like the opening scene of Howl's Moving Castle, I didn't think that this video was going to turn into like a whole Miyazaki. I'm glad it did. So the whole opening scene, and you guys can check it. I think it's on YouTube. The opening scene of Howl's Moving Castle. It's just all drawn by hand with like the fog lifting. It's just amazing what he did right there. And everything is drawn by hand. There's nothing computerized in Miyazaki's movies, at least when he was alive. I don't know now, but yeah. Oh, so Paul, so I thought you were Canadian. I'm American, grew up in New York City and upstate New York, then moved to Toronto and lived there for 20 years, in North Carolina for 22. Yes, I love Toronto Island. I've been there again. I've been to Toronto 3 times. All 3 times I made a day trip to Toronto Island. Of course, I went in the summer. I don't think you can go in the winter. It's probably not, not that nice to visit anymore when it's super cold. We hear you, Annie. Yeah, yeah. Did I geek up the chat again? I'm happy to geek up the chat. Yeah. So, last question before we actually disconnect, log off for the day. Who is signing up for Dopey? Well, I'm going to attempt to. Like me, I'm going to try. So, I start my new job Monday. I was supposed to start Tuesday because Monday is Easter Monday. But my new manager called me yesterday and said, hey, can you start Monday? Because then that way we can put you through the training that week. There's nothing pending for the following week. And I said, okay, yes, I can totally do it. As a matter of fact, I much rather do that and just be done with the training and the onboarding and all that. So, so I'm going to start work on Monday. Tuesday is registration day for Dopey. So my friend Lynn is actually going to sign me up. So she's going to go in and sign both of us. And I'm going to talk about this in another video, but I am pushing for my brother. I think my brother's working. I don't think he could join. He had to. Sometimes he stays over in his office later, and today was the day that he needed to stay. Because he's in Spain. So right now it's 7 p.m. in Spain, but I think he was leaving his office at 8 p.m. in Spain today. So I am pushing for him to run as well. I am a mean sister. I know this is a lot of money for Spanish pockets. It's a lot of money. Like for how much money you pay for Dopey, that's minimum wage in Spain, $650. It's minimum wage in Spain. So it's hefty. Not that my brother makes minimum wage, but to put things in like context, it's very expensive for a European to come here to run Dopey. But I am pushing. Maybe I'll get him to sign up for something. Maybe the marathon, let's say. That would be nice. Yeah. Heather, it's hard to get away for that weekend because my kids are already in school by then. I know. It's the same thing with my son. My son goes back to college the Sunday of the marathon. This year, 2023, actually, I paid a friend of his to take him back to college because he didn't want to get on the bus because he had too much luggage, and it's hard to trail, like to push all the luggage from the bus station in his college to his dorm. It's like a 20-minute walk, and he didn't want it. I don't blame him. So I paid a friend of his. I paid him $100 to drive him there with all the luggage and then come back. So yeah, and this coming year would be the same thing. So, but it's my 50th birthday, so I think I deserve to do Dopey. Sorry. It is what it is, guys. Like, I'm gonna start saving, like pennies around the house and then cash everything so I can pay for the plane, the hotel. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad, but yeah, they're so expensive, those trips. Anyway, guys, this was a great chat. I loved having you here. Just picture me like hugging you and big bear hug, mama bear hug, and kisses for everybody. And there's another vlog coming on Sunday, and it's going to be a little bit different. And I will put on the community and also on Instagram, I will put like a space, like a post, so you can put your questions there, and I'll do a Q&A. I can, if I get enough questions, I can post it next week, like Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, Chaminda, because you just joined. We've been here since, for like almost 60 minutes now. Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you for showing to the live streams. Thank you, guys. Run fearless.